Hello YouTube. I know I said I was going to get a camera girl, but I'm going to try to do this by myself. Just so I can get something out there, because I know Palmetto Prepared will get really grumpy if he sees a video and it's not what he wanted to see. So, what I'm going to show you right now is just because my hands are free-ish. This is the nest box I use. I had these custom made for me. Get an angle here. So, the reason I use this style was I used to do commercial rabbitry. So they'd be filled up with wood chips, and I could just pop out the bottom, shake out the litter and the manure, and all these bottoms would be washed off, cleaned off, and the boxes would be cleaned and washed, and I could have stacks of them ready to go. They're not necessarily the best nest box, but because I did commercial, that was the style I did, just for ease. I mean, I used to have well over 300 rabbits every Friday night born. So you need to make up with efficiency sometimes, guys. This is where I sit now with rabbits. Nowhere near what I was before. These are production cages. And that is, we don't have Hershey's rabbits here. That is chickens in behind. All the slopes go out into the chicken pen. Now there is a whole thing about keep chickens away from rabbits and rabbits away from chickens, because there is things they can transfer back and forth, which I'm fully aware of. But also, hey, the chickens dig through all the rabbit food that they waste. This is going to be a common problem. That's a lot of food that they waste. So I made up this handy dandy thing right here. So that way I can just take that. Sorry about the shake, guys. But I can push all the manure, the wasted wood chips, all the hair down, and the chickens will dig through the rabbit manure, eat up. It just kind of cuts down on some feed costs for the chickens. Makes less waste. I'm a big fan of less waste. And this is a style that I have. That's the feeder that I use. This is the one I've had the most success with. It's called a flush face feeder. So it's got the hole cut out, and that just, this little latch and that little angle of metal right there is all that holds it in. So just hook that back on there, spin that latch up, because that's the seat, and that's all that holds it in. Now that's just me writing stuff down. I used to, like, as I say, I used to have a very large rabbitry, and these are breeding cards that I had custom made for myself before, that I still have a few of, and it just deals with who the male was, the date that they were bred, the date they're due, the date they actually had the baby, and then how many born, how many died, you know, added, if I had to foster any over, how many they raised, if I saved any. Because with rabbits, if you want to do any level of genetics, you really need to keep track of your breeding schedules and who you're breeding with and why and how, because that can really make a difference down the road. A chicken is angry down there. So we have the one buck here. This is C1, and he's a lovely buck. He does a good job. This all came from, all the New Zealand whites come from a trio that I bought. A trio is colloquially known as one male and two females. So that's C1. Sorry, I bought more than a trio technically. I bought a male from one line, a female from another line, and 2 females from a different line again. So I started with 4. And if you know what you're doing with genetics, you can do some turnarounds and changes. So that's C1 because he's the number 1 buck from the C line. This one here is Pickles, which my son named because no one in my family eats pickles. I know. Giggle all you want. I don't breed very often just because I only breed them pretty much for our own consumption. But I can show you. That's what the nest box looks like when it's properly used. So lots of wood chips in there. And these were born on January 9th. Today is the 17th. So what we've done is I actually got, because they kept flipping the nest box over, this one is actually zip tied to the wall so she couldn't flip it over anymore. I just got sick of having to replace that many wood chips. But now they always say don't touch animals and babies and whatnot, and I can understand it from both points of view. Oh, sorry, you're focusing on the wire there. Let me try to get you in here. So that's the babies. Now, normally I agree with all these rules about don't touch stuff, but again, I work with these animals all the time. And also, in all honesty, it's way better to pull out a dead and rotting baby. That's going to cause more issues than your hand. So let me just try to get the camera angle here. That's the little baby. Oh, don't drop the phone. So that's a little baby. And they are cute and they're warm. Now the one problem with this style of nest box, guys, is I did actually have one die because it had latched onto her. And when she jumped out of the nest box, it was still attached to her. So it was back in the corner of the cage. Rabbits will not pick up the baby and put them back in. So you're way further ahead to get your smell on them and hope for the best. Now I always rub my hands in the hair just so she understands the scent. But again, when you work with these animals enough, they understand. She knows I'm not going to hurt her. So they're used to my scent. But feel free to fire out a whole bunch of questions. I know I'm not going to answer anything at all with this little video, but I'm going to make a few more trying to go through some stuff. And specifically, if you have any very specific questions, I would love to answer them for you. Like I say, I used to raise well over 3,000 rabbits. And I do love rabbits. They're one of the greatest things you can work with if you're interested in genetics, if you're interested in just small, cuddly animals, and if you're just hungry. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Anthony, I hope this answers a few of your questions. Steve, leave me alone for 10 minutes. I will make more videos. Have a good night, guys. Bye.